Okie dokie. Live on YouTube. So, let's see if I can get this set up right here. The most recent log is a small sliver. Small sliver of the piece. So, yeah, it was a really good day in the woods. I took my sawmill, pulled a few logs out in the woods. This was, logs that I have left in the woods and I never pulled out, and I needed to, salvage the remaining of the, tree. So this log was pretty big. The thumbnail kind of shows, a really wide crotch, and obviously my sawmill wouldn't be able to cut 40 inches wide, so I did have to reduce it. But absolute beautiful crotch figure throughout these slabs. This is a small sliver of the piece. I had a bad cut and then I put a new blade on and I wanted to, make it right. So I took a little small sliver, a small slab off the top, and then continued to cut my regular slabs. But all these slabs are all stacked up at my house, and they turned out pretty nice. Let's show you a few other pieces. I actually cut some box elder, which was pretty nice. I'll show you a few. Let's look at it. Show you this one. And so that's my next venture is going to be out there. I have a few really big box elder trees out there. And I believe that they're really flamey. So you can see like there's a red flame in this wood. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some red flame. And then I have 7 or 8 slabs back there. So the box elder was pretty interesting to cut. I was looking forward to cutting it. I finally did. My blades came in. So I'm cutting for a customer in Ada, Oklahoma, and they have pecan logs. So I typically cut 10-degree blades. From a walnut and primarily everything, I'm using 10-degree. But for some reason, pecan logs and my 10-degree blade just don't like each other. So I really do not like cutting pecan logs. But I ordered some 7-degree blades, and I've heard from a few people and the professional that that makes the blades. He actually is very familiar with what type of blade you need to use for a log. And I've cut lots of pecan logs, but there's times where I'm having to change the blade more often than I would like, just to produce those flat cuts. So I went ahead and ordered 7-degree blades. They came in. I have an entire box, at the front of my sawmill of 7-degree blades. So I got to go to Ada, Oklahoma, and cut some logs for a customer. If you have any logs in the state of Oklahoma, I would love to come to your property. I'll bring my sawmill to you. There'll be a setup fee, and then there'll be $100 an hour. Ideally, you have quite a few logs. You might just have a few logs. Either or, reach out to me at 405-562-0707. That's the best way to reach out to me. And yeah, I would love to cut your logs. This is just one of my live streams. I told myself I want to go live on YouTube at least once a week, so that's what we're doing. The Wood Miser Sawmill, it's a fantastic machine. It's my second Wood Miser. I think the Wood Miser is a great product. I've heard recently they're pumping out so many machines. There's a few errors that people are having. So those things you might be able to work out yourself. But there has been a few issues with this machine. A few things have broken as far as metal goes. You have to re-weld it. Like the travel hook broke. Multiple other things, broke, and I needed to re-weld it. If you are gonna weld on this machine, and I never, made a mistake of not doing this, you need to make sure you disconnect your battery terminal, both sides of it, so you don't have electronics hooked up to your battery as you're welding anything on this machine. So make sure you do that. I was thankful that I, reached out to them before I did any welding on the machine, and they told me that was very well needed. You need to do that. You don't want to fry any of your electronics if you're going to weld on this machine. So it's very important. Unhook your battery, everything from your battery before you weld on this machine. Yeah, it's a fantastic machine. I love pulling up to a location and they have 20 or 30 different saw logs, whatever lengths you desire, anywhere from pine, walnut, cedar, sycamore, pecan, oak. I love cutting oak logs. So I just love doing what I do. It all started with pulling wood off of a different sawmill. So I used to take my logs for 4 years or so to Oklahoma City Sawmill. I'd have to figure out a way to get these logs on my trailer, and then I would bring them to the sawmill. They'd take off my trailer and they would slice them up for me, and then I have to bring my trailer back to pick up the slabs. Did that for many years. I finally bought the Wood-Mizer. I bought an LT40 wide, a standard gasoline engine. It was a fantastic machine. It did everything I needed to do. I just felt that it kind of bogged down in 32-inch wide cuts. So if I'm cutting a 32-inch wide cut with a gasoline engine, it bogged down. So in 2020, I sold that machine, bought this machine, and it's it's fantastic. I have no complaints with it. The only complaint that I have, I wish I could cut wider. So that's the only thing. But yeah, the Wood-Mizer is a fantastic machine. The blades, let's show you one coiled up. This is going to be the 7-degree blade that I just got. And they come coiled up like this. Wood-Mizer sends them differently. I haven't purchased Wood-Mizer blades in 4 or 5 years. But anyway, so these are the blades that I get. It's the Ripper, and it's a 7-degree, fantastic blade. The 10 degrees are fantastic. I absolutely love using, Jerry's Resharp for all my blade needs. So fantastic company. Get the Ripper 37s, and if you're cutting walnut, you get the 10-degree blade. If you're cutting pecan or anything else, sometimes you need to get a 7-degree blade. I have used 4-degree blades many times, and I used to use Wood-Mizer for 3 or 4 years. The Wood-Mizer blades, they come in a box. They're really skinny. You can get them on Amazon now. But yeah, so I haven't purchased a Wood-Mizer blade in over 4 years because these are far superior. Jerry's Resharp. You just Google Jerry's Resharp. You go to their website. Find the machine that you have. Even if you have a Harbor Freight mill or Woodlands mill, Norwood, any type of sawmill, you select your sawmill that you have, and you click it, and then you just it tells you, it kind of already knows how many inches your blade is. Verify that and make sure it is the proper inches for your blade, and then order you some blades from Jerry's Resharp. They're a fantastic company. I've been using them for a while. I'm extremely happy with them. Behind you, let's look at it. Look at all these blades. Just been used one time. I haven't never sharpened them. One day I will, but just a bunch of blades. 171 inches. And that's the, box elder. I rarely put white wood in here. It's primarily going to be nothing but walnut. This is going to be fresh cut ovals. I just cut those yesterday. So, but yeah, that's the material that I cut, yesterday. They're obviously 2-inch slabs. This is just a little sliver to give you an example. Charcuterie stock, 5/4. Majority of these boards are maximum $100. There's a cottonwood slab behind there that's not for sale, but yeah, all this stuff is $100 or less. Been dried for over 2 years, air dried. These have been cut for 5 years. 5 years. Cut them at the end of 2020. Some walnut slabs, and then I have stacks on stacks at my house. Here's another coiled up blade. So I need to put this blade and this. So maybe, and then those are all the blades, old blades. So this is primarily all dry wood. This probably needs another 6 months, but look at that crotch. Fire. So these are the 7-degree blades I just bought. Got some 10-degree blades. Let's put it back in the package. I'll put you back on the tripod. I'm thinking like another 5 minutes and we'll wrap it up. So I'll just kind of, ramble and talk about the sawmill business. I have been in business for 15 years. This is all I do. Yeah, it took over my other business by choice. So what we're gonna do for the next 5 minutes, show you, I got that little deal. Take this coil, I always get confused. So I'm gonna put this like this. Yeah. So I'm gonna undo this right here. I have one blade that's spent and it's taking up wall space because I have some more slabs in my house I really need to get. So before I do that, it's really important to be careful. So I'm gonna come over here and grab this to make it a little safer. Grab a little squeeze clamp. Some people coil their things up. I just showed you a blade that was coiled up. You know, there's like 3 different coils. You uncoil it. I don't like to store my blades in coils. This is the most efficient way to store blades. I have 300 blades behind you. They've been used one time. They've been used many times, but they've never been sharpened. So once they're spent, I coil them up. I have probably thrown over 100 blades away. There's times where, you know, I've cut thousands of logs and I've sold probably over 10,000 slabs in the past 10 years. But anyways, there's times where, you know, you have so much walnut, you have a bunch of walnut in your trailer, you have walnut in your truck, and you have 6 or 7 blades from, you know, the venture that you just went on, and there might be a dumpster right there. So you just throw those blades away because they're all spent and you don't want to travel with them. So that happens dozens of times. So I have thrown hundreds of blades away. But ideally, you keep your blades and you get a sharpener. Because if you get a sharpener, then you can, you know, sharpen them up. And something bad's probably going to happen since we're live. I don't know exactly. I hate doing this. It's a bunch of blades all coiled up. So we'll keep that like that. Watch. That's fine there. We'll undo this right here. And I don't even know. Okay, yes, we're good there. Okay, got that undone. So we're going to take a blade. We're going to put it down. And we're going to flop it in here like this. So that blade's put away. So I can fit mini blades. I actually have coils in there that there's only 30 or so blades in a coil. You know, there's a few hundred blades there. Ideally, I'm thinking one day I'm going to put 50 in each coil. So instead of, I'll be able to just have more blades condensed in a spot versus having, you know, 30 blades in a coil. I think I can fit 50. So that's my goal. But anyway, so that's enough of rambling. I have a few ventures I need to do. I have plans to go harvest a bunch of walnut trees. So, you know, I'm looking forward to that. Outside of that, I have to go to Ada, Oklahoma to cut some logs for a customer, which is, you know, that'll be cool. That'll be a fun situation. And then, yeah, I, you know, just need to go cut some wood. And that doesn't get done by itself, so I just got back from a venture, you know, cut slabs like this, you know, a bunch of crotch slabs, and they were just absolutely beautiful pieces. So yeah, that's that. If you guys have any questions for me, you know, write them in the comments. I would love to maybe answer them in the next video that I go live. I don't know exactly how to see the questions from a live perspective. So this coil's done. I just put a couple, you know, the blade in there. I need to put it in that stack, but I do anticipate cutting quite a few blades. So I'm going to put some more in there before I stack it up. So what else can we talk about? What, the chainsaws I use. You know, here's a 660. Here's another 660, and then, you know, Just some random burls. You got your B57 belts, toolboxes. There's a bunch of wedges in here. You know, when I cut trees down, I have hundreds of these. I make them myself. I don't use plastic. I use wood. You know, a wood wedge. You got your axe. You got tons of chain. And yeah, you got to be prepared. I have an F350. It pulls the sawmill. It pulls the logs. I actually just made a batch of charcoal at my house, so I make my own charcoal when I go in my woods, and you know, obviously I cook a bunch of steak, so I don't buy charcoal, I make it. Here's some cookies, cut for 2 years. You got some cracks in them. It's like a $20 piece of wood, $300 piece of wood, $700 piece of wood, $700 piece of wood. Some blades. I told you where I got them from. There you go. And yeah, some wood. Brunt boots. They've given me free boots over the years. You get another pair from them, and that's that. Just so I operate out of a 12 by 40 storage unit. Yeah, a 12 by 40 storage unit is how I operate my business. You know, this is the only overhead I have, because you know, in this business, I don't own a machine. I do spend once a year a certain amount to insure it if anything was to happen to this machine or my trailer or my Lucas mill. I also have a Lucas mill that cuts 76 inches wide by 20 feet. It's a fantastic machine. I probably use it once a quarter. I used to pay somebody to cut, you know, let's say you stumble upon a 40 or 50 inch wide walnut log or a sycamore log or whatever log it is, and you want this huge log that you see turned into slabs. Well, I used to not be able to accomplish those goals. I would pay somebody else, they'd come in, slice that log up for me. I'd have to pay them $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $1,400, whatever the price was. It's always over $1,000. And you know, have this big log, and now it's slabs. You just, you know, forked over $1,200, and you do that multiple times. I ended up buying my own Lucas mill, and that was in 2020. The same year I, you know, upped my wood miser game. I went from the gasoline engine to the diesel engine. This diesel engine eats wood, so the most amount of logs that I've cut in a day is 65. If you have 100 logs, 100 saw logs in Oklahoma, ready to be cut, and you have a few people that are ready to off-bear the material, I believe I could cut 100 logs in a day. And yeah, it'd be a very fun time. You will pay for a setup fee. That setup fee is going to be a minimum of $200. A $200 setup fee is going to include 1 hour of travel. So if you're 1 hour away from me, it's going to be a $200 setup fee. And then it's going to be $100 an hour. I haven't raised my prices in 7 years, so I've always been at the $100 an hour rate. I do want to bump it to $140. Everything about my life, business, expenses, chainsaws, oil, gas, parts, everything has gone up. This machine went from $41,000 to almost $60,000 from 2020 to now. So everything has gone up. My prices haven't gone up with the sawmill situation. So I do plan on raising my prices to $140 an hour with a setup fee. There's times where you cut 40 logs in a day and you get paid $900, and you leave that day and you think to yourself that you might not be charging enough for your services because the amount of work that goes behind this situation. Every time I use this machine, I've used this machine hundreds of times, and I've cut for over 200 people in Oklahoma. Every time I use this machine, I'm usually drawing blood. There's something that happens, you know. It's a lot of hard work. So ideally, you have a skid steer. You're able to manage and handle your logs, and you're able to feed my machine. If you don't have a skid steer, that's not a problem. We will be rolling the logs on. We're going to use cant hooks. If you have 30-inch diameter logs, it will be challenging. It can be done, but typically you need at least 2 people on cant hooks to move a 30-inch log onto the sawmill. So that's kind of my ramble for the night. I like to do at least one live video on YouTube a week now. Have over 1,500 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I think I started this channel in 2020. It was just to document the sawmill situation, cutting wood. I do plan to have cooler videos out eventually. Intros where I'm pulling on the properties. I do have many videos of me falling trees and so on and so forth on YouTube and Instagram. But yeah, I would like to have more a lot more footage condensed down and edited into a really cool video that you guys can watch me doing the things that I do in the woods. Unfortunately, I'll be 100% honest. When it comes to videoing everything with what I do, it takes 3 times longer. And I will already say doing the things with processing wood already take a very long time. There's times where I'm only able to pull a few logs out of the woods, in a day, because these logs are, massive logs. So, putting, staging cameras, throwing the tripod up and, just getting that footage of me getting that log from point A to point B, it'll take 3 or 4 times long, just to achieve those goals. But I just went out, cut logs like this. I did get all the video of, me pulling the logs out from where this log was to going on my sawmill. I got every piece of, video. It took me all day long. I wanted to do it just so I could capture everything. So I am planning on making a video of showing you guys the steps it took to take these logs from the woods onto my sawmill, and I captured all the video yesterday and the day before. So I'm looking forward to showing you that stuff. I do need to compile it and figure out how to edit it together, but unfortunately I haven't done that yet. So this is my live stream of the Wood Miser, the sawmill business, Wood by Wicks. If you want to see a lot more videos of this sawmill running, I have over 50,000 followers on Instagram. So there's lots of videos out there. There's thousands of videos of this machine cutting thousands of different logs on Instagram. That's my primary platform that I post my content. So yeah, I would like to start posting more content on YouTube, more shorts and more videos of actually long segmented videos of one log. It's going to take 18 minutes to cut this one walnut log. I have hundreds of those videos, so I'm slowly adding and uploading these videos to YouTube. So I do appreciate you guys subscribing and following along. One-man show. This is all I do. I cut wood, sell wood, and that's it. There's times where it's it's really great. You're making lots of money, and then there's times where there might not be any sales for a few weeks. And if you're somebody that might potentially think about getting into this business and you want to buy a Wood Miser, ideally you'd have the money to purchase the Wood Miser you're desiring to buy, and you're not financing it. Because if you're financing a Wood Miser and you're going to go into the Wood Miser business, the sawmill business, cutting wood business, selling wood business, there will be times that will be slow and extremely hard. And if you have the pressure of having to pay for this sawmill during those times, and you're not able to have an abundance of savings and stuff like that to cash flow you through those rough times, you might find it extremely difficult to make a living with the Wood Miser. I am not in sawmill territory. You look around me, there's not saw logs around me. I'm usually traveling at least an hour away to get to mini logs lined up for my sawmill. So you just got to take that into consideration before you buy a Wood Miser. You need to come up with an idea of how you're going to actually make money with the Wood Miser, and you need to be prepared to make the payment if you are financing it. Like I said, I didn't finance the machine, purchased it, and you just need to make sure you have a really good plan put together before you go into the Wood Miser and the sawmill wood cutting business. It can be very rewarding and it can be very challenging. I like obstacles. When I see obstacles, I like to figure out a way to overcome those obstacles. So if you're faced with challenges in your life and they seem too hard to overcome, I don't recommend the wood miser and the sawmill business for you. Although it's very rewarding, it's in very tough work, and I love what I do. I'm not trying to negate the fact that owning a wood miser it's extremely fun. Having the ability to take a log and turn it into slabs is extremely fun. But if you want to take the wood miser and make it a business, it can be extremely difficult. So that's my ramble for the night. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Wood by Wicks, Zach, 12 by 40 storage unit. Lights just went off. They go off every 15 minutes. So I don't have electrical and I don't have plumbing, which is a very, very challenging thing. I wish I had water and I wish I had electrical in this unit. There's been 3 different times. This is 16 foot. Floor to ceiling, I've stacked slabs, width to width, 12, by 40. Just this area, line on, because my sawmill has to fit. From floor to ceiling, slab stacks. I've done that 3 times. I might have done it, 4 or 5 times in smaller, piles. But there's been many times where I put lots of wood in this unit. I wait, a few years, it dries, and then, I sell the wood. So if you have a kiln and you can speed up the process, that is a recommended situation so you can cash flow a lot quicker. You're not having to wait for this wood to dry. You do need to have a larger footprint if you have a kiln. Ideally, you're going to have a building, more expense. You're going to have a land, you're going to have a skid steer, you're going to have all the things that you need to complement this sawmill. I have a very unique business. Most people that have a sawmill aren't situated like I am. Most people that have a sawmill can actually handle logs. Like if somebody wanted to say, hey, it happens all the time, they want to bring me logs. Well, that's an issue. I don't accept logs, and I'm not willing to bring my sawmill in my driveway at my residential property and have somebody unload a few logs on my driveway and cut them. That's off the tables. I love going to where the trees grow, and I love going to where your logs are, and I'll make the mess on your property. I'll slice them up. I'll do a very, very good job. You'll have nice flat cuts. You will have some sawdust left at that location, and I'm not going to clean it up. If I am going to clean up the sawdust left behind, you will be continuing to pay me $100 an hour to clean up my mess. I've cut for over 200 people, and I've never cleaned up my mess at someone's property. The only thing I'm going to do is potentially take offcuts and throw them in a pile. As far as cleaning up the sawdust and cleaning up my mess, that's your issue. And if you want me to clean it up, you're going to pay me to clean it up. I always have a conversation with people beforehand, before I come out with the sawmill, and I always like to get an idea of what they have. You're going to call me and you're going to tell me your situation. You're going to say, I have 3 or 4 logs, I have this property, I have flat land. I'm going to get an idea of what you have. Then I'm going to give you my perspective. We're going to come up with a game plan, and then I'm going to show up at your property first thing in the morning. I'm going to slice those logs up. Those logs, ideally the slabs, are going to go into stacks. You're going to go into stickered stacks like this. Let me show you. Look, this is just a temporary stack. These are some ovals, so whenever I cut logs for people, you need to be ready to have stickers. Whatever those stickers look like for you, depends, but you need to have stickers. So we're going to cut a bunch of slabs. There's times where I leave properties and there's 300 or 400 slabs after I leave. And if I leave and you didn't have stickers before I came, that means all these stacks are dead stacked together. You're going to have to touch them again, and then you're going to have to put stickers in them eventually. So ideally, you're going to have all your stickers before I show up. And whenever you take a piece of wood off my sawmill, it's either going to go on your tractor or your skid steer, and you're ready to put it in its final resting point. You have your stickers on hand. You put that slab on a flat situation with some bunks underneath, and you put these stickers every 18 inches, and then you're ready to put your next slab. Every time a slab comes off this sawmill, it's maybe swept off, and you put it in its stack. You're only touching it a few times. There's times where I cut 300 or 400 slabs for people, and every time I cut it, I'm just dead stacking it, or they're dead stacking it. And then I see them move it again, see them move again, they touch the material 4 or 5 times. So I highly recommend, before I come onto your property, you have stickers ready to go. And you probably want to buy twice as many stickers as you think that you need, because you will run out of stickers. I run out of stickers all the time, and you need to make sure you have stickers before I cut your wood, so you don't have to touch your wood 100 times. That would be highly recommended. My other recommendation would be, if you do have logs and they're ready to be cut up, since they're already in log form, ideally you're not going to just put them right on the ground. You would have, let's say, 2 telephone poles, and you would have a bunch of logs sitting on those, and you maybe want to paint the ends of your logs. The board is going to dry quickest from the end, so if you want to prevent checks and cracks from the ends of your boards, you're going to paint them. Some people like to use Anchor Seal. It's a very good product. I like to use waterproof glue, 100% glue, not diluted situation. Whenever I cut 40-inch wide walnut trees and I have them in slabs, I don't even like to paint the logs. I like to just paint the individual slabs, because I'm not just painting the end of the slab, I'm also going to paint 1 inch on the face of the slab and 1 inch on the bottom of the slab. It really helps with the checking, and so that's very important, is painting your slabs. And then another thing is, you're going to have one issue or another with bugs. If your logs have been on the ground for many months, you're going to have bugs in your logs. If you take your logs and you put your slabs that I cut into a stack and it has bugs in it, just know, through time, you're going to have little piles of sawdust throughout here. And you're going to start noticing that. You're going to see little piles of sawdust in between your slabs. And you're going to be like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then you're going to start seeing holes in your slabs. So your slabs are either going to have some type of bug, or you're going to have powder posts in your logs. And that's a very bad deal, because you can't, let's say if this was just air dried and it wasn't kiln dried and it had powder post beetles in it, that would be a major issue for you, because that's just a bad deal. So ideally, every time I cut trees, I'm cutting trees down and they're sliced up the same day. I typically remove all the bark off them, and I clean the entire slab, and it's stacked up. Ideally, after it is cleaned and washed and all the bark is removed, I lean it against this wall for maybe a week. I like to let the surface of the slab dry for like a week or so, and then I like to put it in its stack. If you wash a slab off and you put a sticker on a wet slab, there's a high likelihood you're going to have stickers stain on that slab. And I don't recommend using treated wood. So if you're going to use stickers, don't use a treated wood. Ideally, you're going to use a walnut if you're cutting walnut, and if you're cutting oak, you're going to be using an oak. Dry stickers, not wet stickers. So that's my spiel of the sawmill business. There's many things that I would like to talk about. I talked about plunge cutting trees, the last video that I made on YouTube. I love cutting trees down, and it's going to come with a face cut. I'm going to plunge cut the inside of the tree out. I'm going to form my hinge. I'm going to also make me a trigger on the back side of the tree. I'm going to put my wedges in. I'm going to cut that trigger. The tree's not going to move any during that process. Whenever I cut that trigger on the back side of that log, that tree's going to fold over. There's times when people are putting their face cut, they start coming from the back side, and that tree starts moving. Well, that movement is causing cracks in your log, and and then you have cracks in your log, and then you finish the cut, and the tree falls over. You might have some fiber tear and stuff like that. I like to prevent all those things. That's happened to me, many years ago. But yeah, plunge cutting trees, board cutting trees, forming your hinge, and tapping the backside and making them fall. That's preferred method whenever I cut the trees. I find it to be the safest method. If it is a leaner, it's going to be the only method to cut the tree down. You don't want to have a tree barber chair and come and kill you when you're in the woods by yourself. So that's my spiel. Wood miser. You got the chainsaws over there, all my camping gear's up there. I have lots of water jugs. Anytime you go into the woods, you're gonna need lots of water because this thing, needs water. So if you're in a location that you don't have a water spout where you can just turn on, you're gonna need to haul in water to that location. So anytime I go, 100% of the time, I'm always hauling in 20 gallons of water. If you don't have water, you need water. So you got to make sure you have the water jugs for this sawmill, all the tools and parts that you might need if they break, a bunch of extra blades, the ability to change a tire if you got a flat. I just got brand new tires on this machine. Thank you, Jesus, that it happened in here. A big old chunk of my tire, it's over there, a big old chunk of my tire fell off. It was sitting against the side of this unit. I came in here, my sawmill was leaning really hard. It was very unusual. And I noticed it was flat, I aired it up. I couldn't figure out where the leak was. And then I noticed there was a big old chunk of tire. And, it came from the top side of the tire. I ended up, lifting this mill up, took both, wheels off, took them, and they put new 10-ply tires on them. So I'm very thankful that that didn't happen on the road, because if you do experience a blowout with this sawmill while you're in transit, you could potentially damage or even total this sawmill. The electrical components could get messed up. It's, that wheel well is kind of right above that situation. So you really want to make sure you're up to date on your tires. There's no issues. If you see logs, bumping into your tires or anything like that, you need to make sure that tire's good. And it literally cost me like $230 to get new tires for this machine. So I think that, spending that, little bit amount of money to avoid a catastrophic situation when you're in transit to go to your location will be very recommended. Make sure you change your tires on your sawmill and your tires are ready to go. And when you are on the road, you need to have a spare tire. I have a spare tire for my sawmill and my trailer. Obviously, I have a spare tire for my truck underneath it. But yeah, just be completely prepared when you bring this machine out. When I bring this machine out, I'm prepared to camp out. If something was to happen in transit or whatever, I won't leave until this sawmill gets home. There's no unhooking it and leaving it behind. You have to be prepared to kind of stay with it until the job's done and you get it back into a safe location. I have GPS tracker on this situation. If this machine was to leave, I would know where it's at. And there's also a few air tags on it, so that's just kind of plan B. But yeah, when this machine moves, I'm notified. My phone is notified when this machine moves, so that's kind of an insurance situation for me to know that this machine is safe. It's in a locked situation. It costs $350 to store on a monthly basis, and for me to bring a potential customer on site, this is the cost that I'm willing to pay, because I'm not willing to bring random people into my personal property. I have 400 or 500 slabs at my house. I have kids and a wife, and it's my personal property. Bringing a random whoever to my house just doesn't happen. I never bring random people to my house. The only people that go to my house are people that have done business with me multiple times and people that I know. So it's very, it makes 100% sense to continue to operate out a storage unit, because my overhead is such a lower amount, and I have the ability to bring a customer here to talk to or sell wood. I do sell thousands of dollars worth of slabs out of here every month. So you need to have a place for that. One day I do have dreams and goals to have land. I want to have a skidster. I want to have the ability to take logs on location. There's many times where, let's say 30% of the time, sawmill job that should be in the bag gets out of the bag because you don't have the ability to receive logs. They want to bring you the logs. They don't want you to come to their location. So that customer, that you can't help that customer. They're going to go somewhere else. So if I could have the ability to receive logs and cut logs on site, I think that'd be a huge benefit. Now, being able to achieve those goals, the only way that I desire to do that is going to be owning the land.
I have no desire to rent a shop for $15, $16, $1,700 a month for me to have the ability to cut wood out of it. The only thing that I desire is going to be owning the land and building a shop and having that situation. I don't want to rent it. I hate renting. This is the only rental situation. I do have another storage unit for my boat, so one day I want to eliminate the storage here, storage for the boat, both pieces of, situations on a piece of land, and, my trailer could be there. I do, have goals to, purchase a skidster. I can purchase a skidster right now if I desired to. I could go purchase one right now. I could click a button on my phone and have a skidster to my house on Monday if I wanted to. But I don't think it's a financially wise decision to make a very large purchase at this particular time with what's going on with the economy. And I would like to set a goal. Let's say instead of taking all the money out of your savings account, I want to make, let's say I want to make $60,000 in the next 4 or 5 months from selling wood, cutting wood, trading Bitcoin, so on and so forth. So, that's the only way that I see myself, actually, purchase a skidster is, if I, come upon lots of work and lots of sales of wood and, lots of leverage trades and stuff like that, and have the ability to, see the cash flows to purchase the skidster. Come out of pocket, out of savings account to purchase a skidster to grow this business doesn't make sense to me one day. Maybe one day it will if we were to sell our house, get a property, and I would be comfortable with buying a skidster then. But until then, we'll just figure out, what the Lord has in, store for, Wood by Wicks. This is a one-man business. Sorry for the ramble. Not many people with Wood Miser, live stream, but I figured maybe you guys are interested. Like I said, I appreciate you guys for subscribing. If you have any questions about the Wood Miser, any questions about the process, any questions for me, please reach out. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. And yeah, do we have any questions on the screen? Hello, nice miser. Hey sir, I am a video editor. I can edit your videos with thumbnails so good. Okay. Well, that's a great thing. I'm not willing to pay anybody to do anything for me, so that's kind of out the question. I like to do 100% of everything by myself. I have been told many times in the past, you are not going to be able to make the money that you desire to make doing everything by yourself. There will be a time where I'll need to expand and grow a team with this business to go to that level. But until then, I have not interested in paying an editor to do videos. One of my good friends actually makes videos for me for free, so I don't need any of those things. But I do appreciate you, and thank you for subscribing. Let's see if there's any more questions. I'll wrap it up. If not, I'm ending it. God bless you guys.